Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another edition of NoDQ&A Video, the official Q&A video series for NoDQ.com. Got a lot of questions here from formspring.me/AaronRift, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get right down to it. First one today comes from I Am Voss. Hey Aaron, with the Ultimate Warrior being promoted as a big piece of WWE 2K14, do you think that there's a chance that WWE has offered him to go into the Hall of Fame as well? I have gotten a lot of questions about the Ultimate Warrior. Will he come back to WWE? Is this a sign that he's coming back? The fact that he's involved with WWE 2K14. First of all, WWE has offered the Ultimate Warrior a spot in the Hall of Fame in the past, and he has turned them down. Now, I think that the Ultimate Warrior doing the video game, at the very least, will open doors, and perhaps there will be talks between the two parties. Keep in mind that Ultimate Warrior has signed a deal with 2K Games. He has not signed a deal at this time with WWE, but Ultimate Warrior in an interview says that he's not on bad terms with them anymore. So never say never. I think that if they're able to come to terms, we could very well see Ultimate Warrior in the Hall of Fame next year for WrestleMania 30. And I think that would be very fitting. I think for the 30th WrestleMania, a milestone event, Ultimate Warrior is at the top of the list of guys that should go into the Hall of Fame, and I think he should be the headliner. So I think it's a matter of the two sides being able to come to an agreement. I think WWE's big concern is that the Warrior might flake out on them, and he might try to pull something at the last minute, who knows, but hopefully they are able to come to terms, because I think the fans deserve to have that moment where the Warrior goes into the Hall of Fame and maybe even makes an appearance at WrestleMania. I mean, he could potentially be part of like a six-man tag team match or something where he can do his big ring entrance where he runs down, shakes the ropes, and then gets the hot tag at the end of the match, does a couple clotheslines, does the Warrior press, does the splash. And, you know, the fans would be satisfied with that. So I think that would be a really special WrestleMania moment. And, you know, just cross your fingers. We'll see what happens. All right, this one comes from Scoop19. Hey, Aaron, with Randy Orton winning the Money in the Bank, do you think that this could be the possibility of his heel turn that has been rumored? Time and time again, I get asked about the heel turn, and it never happens. At SummerSlam, there's the chance we could see Randy Orton cash in Money in the Bank, but he made it clear in that promo with John Cena that it was going to happen when Cena would not expect it. So I think whenever it does happen, it will be completely random. Maybe it'll be 6 months from now. Who knows? I'm not really crazy about the idea of another John Cena versus Randy Orton feud, even though they haven't feuded in several years, but the fact is they went through every kind of match imaginable. I mean, they had a Hell in a Cell match. They had Iron Man match. They had no-holds-barred matches. I mean, they did everything. So the idea of a heel Randy Orton versus John Cena, I mean, been there, done that. Now, if John Cena turned heel at some point and went against a babyface Randy Orton, that would be something interesting, and I would like to see that. But I definitely am not interested in another heel Orton versus babyface Cena. So if they are going to turn Orton at some point, hopefully John Cena is not the champion, and maybe Orton and Daniel Bryan could have a feud with Orton as a heel. That would be something entertaining. So I think if you're going to turn Orton heel, it's best to do it after Cena loses the title, and you have somebody else that Orton can feud with. All right, this one comes from Sting HBK316. WWE makes fun of WCW, but they're guilty of a lot of the same crap. What is the difference between Bischoff not seeing Warrior in the mirror when Hogan in the crowd did, and JR hearing the voices that were in Kane's head during the May 19th angle? Well, I think the biggest difference is myself, and I think a lot of other people don't even remember the JR thing. I mean, I remember the whole May 19th angle, and, you know, that was stupid. But another difference is that the May 19th thing was a mid-card angle, and it was used to help promote a movie. And at the time, I actually thought it was a clever way to promote the movie and get people remembering the date. with the WCW thing, I mean, it was just stupidity. I mean, WWE purposely did something over the top to help promote the movie. So, I mean, they came up with the idea where JR would hear voices. But with WCW, I don't think that they thought out the entire storyline. I don't think that they realized that it wouldn't make sense for Bischoff to not see Warrior in the mirror while Hogan and everybody else can see him. I don't think that they realized that there would be an issue there. And that was the problem with WCW, is they just didn't think. They came up with really bad storylines. And I think when WWE does it, a lot of it is intentional, and you know, they're doing it for a reason. So I mean, that right there, I think is the big difference between the two angles. All right, this one comes from CyberThug742000. Hey Aaron, thank you for your previous comment to me. Got another question for you. Do you think it is possible for Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara to square off against each other, possibly at WrestleMania 30? Please answer in video if possible. Thanks. To be honest with you, I think that it's highly unlikely at this point we'll see Rey Mysterio versus Sin Cara. Every year since Sin Cara has come into WWE, there's been the talk about Mysterio and Sin Cara having a match at WrestleMania, perhaps setting a world record for the most masks in one public gathering. But, you know, one year Rey Mysterio is injured, another year Sin Cara is injured. This year both of them were injured. So I have serious doubts now that WWE is even going to bother trying to do a match with those two. You know, they've all but given up on Sin Cara completely. And when Rey Mysterio returns soon, who knows how long he'll be healthy, and if he'll even make it to WrestleMania. I mean, that seems to be a big crapshoot every year. Will Rey Mysterio be healthy for WrestleMania? So I think the odds are greatly against it happening at this point. I'd love to see it, but realistically, I think it's a long shot. All right, this one comes from Paul Heyman Guy 18. Hey Aaron, I was looking at some of Test's old matches and titles, and I thought he was great. What were your thoughts on him as an entertainer and performer? I've talked about Test before. I think he was a good wrestler, a good entertainer, but I don't think he was great. I don't think he was top tier. I think that he got over to a degree in 1999 because he was in a storyline that really clicked with the audience. The whole Stephanie McMahon Test relationship, people were into it. It was captivating television, and Shane McMahon brought out the best in Test for sure in that SummerSlam match. I mean, that's one of my all-time favorite SummerSlam matches, and that match really helped put over Test as a top-level superstar. But when you don't book the guy strong, he gets lost in the shuffle. That was a problem with Test. He wasn't good enough to where he could overcome bad booking or being de-pushed. When he was pushed hard, he had the marketing machine behind him. He did great. But you know, once they gave up on him, he wasn't able to regain the momentum on his own. And you know, some guys can be over no matter what, no matter how many times they lose or how buried they are in the card. You know, guys like Matt Hardy, the company won't do anything with you, but you could still go out there and be entertaining enough that the people will continue to cheer for you. But I mean, that wasn't the case with Test. All right, this one comes from EM1985. After a year and some months with a match with Punk at SummerSlam on the way, how would you rate Brock Lesnar's return following Extreme Rules 12, SummerSlam 12, WrestleMania, and Elimination Chamber? I think overall, Brock Lesnar has had a good run since coming back. I wouldn't say it's been an excellent run. I really liked how he came in. I thought that was very well done. The John Cena-Brock Lesnar match, I thought was a great match. I know a lot of people didn't like the fact that John Cena won, and that's certainly questionable. Perhaps it did hurt Brock Lesnar's drawing power since, but nevertheless, I thought that it was a very good match, and I thought that SummerSlam 2012 with Triple H was very disappointing. You know, I mentioned it before. I was there at Staples Center, and the crowd was bored with it. I was bored with it. For whatever reason, the two guys didn't seem to have much chemistry together, and WWE kept it going. They did the rematch of WrestleMania 29, and I give Brock Lesnar all the credit in the world. He really tried in that match, and I thought he was extremely entertaining. All the battle cries and just being a beast. And Triple H worked hard too, but the crowd didn't care. And I think the Extreme Rules match was probably the best of the three because you had the cage stipulation, and I think the crowd was a little bit more into it, although they still weren't really reacting to the two of them, even in that Elimination Chamber match, or excuse me, the cage match. So I think WWE should have just done one Lesnar Triple H match and moved on, but they kept it going. I'm like I said in the previous video, I'm really hoping that CM Punk and Brock Lesnar will have the chemistry that Triple H and Brock Lesnar did not have, and I think that there's a good chance that they'll be able to steal the show at SummerSlam. Well, I don't know if they're going to steal the show from Daniel Bryan and John Cena, but certainly have the second best match of the night. All right, this one comes from Crusher6363. In No DQ&A number 325, you said that the world title shouldn't open the show, and it didn't. Is this a sign that WWE may build that title up again? I honestly don't think it means anything. I think WWE had the Money in the Bank match open the show because they wanted to start off with something hot, and they wanted to get the pay-per-view off to a strong start. Wouldn't surprise me to see the World Heavyweight title match open up SummerSlam. I don't think WWE is going to push that title hard, especially with Damian Sandow as the guy holding the briefcase. I just don't see it being past the mid-card right now. Maybe things will change. Maybe Sandow will get over as a top heel. I don't know. But with the way things are going, I think it's unlikely WWE builds up the World Heavyweight title to the level that it once was at. And the final question today from New FI1. How would you rate RVD's return? I thought that RVD looked really good in the Money in the Bank match. He looked just like the old RVD again. And the crowd was really into him. And, everybody in that match really shined. So, it was a well-booked match. And the next night on Raw, him and Jericho tore the house down and had a very long match on Raw. One of the best TV matches of the year. So to me, it definitely looks like RVD has regained some of that passion that he lost during his TNA run. He definitely seems to be getting back into the zone, and you could watch a match from 2002 and watch the match with Jericho, and it doesn't look like he's missed a beat or changed at all. It's the old RVD back in action again, just older. Alright, that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQ&AV. If you're going to be attending SummerSlam or you're going to be in the LA area, come meet up with the No DQ staff and visitors after the show. We got an event, a dinner planned afterwards at Hooters across the street from Staples Center. If you want to RSVP, just message me on Facebook, facebook.com/AaronRift. And I will get the link for you for that. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest in WWE and TNA. And I'll see you guys next time for more No DQ&A video.